Hallo. Na? So. Gott, ich liebe diesen Track einfach. Ich kann ihn stundenlang anhören und es wird nicht langweilig. Ich muss echt mal Sonic Lost World mal spielen. Ich hoffe, es ist gut. Und ist es nicht gut. So, wir gehen zurück zu Ace Attorney. Ich bin weiterhin gespannt, weil wir haben so gut wie nichts rausgefunden. Ich habe keinen Verdächtigen, aber ich habe Vermutungen. Meine Vermutung ist erstens, warte mal ganz kurz, so. Jetzt mein Grabber, danke. So, und zwar, mein Hauptverdächtiger in diesem Fall ist tatsächlich entweder der Cowboy oder der hier. Ich glaube nicht, dass es Damon ist. Ich glaube nicht. Ich glaube, der ist schon ein guter Mann. Aber ich denke, es war der Cowboy. Und Lana gibt es halt zu, dass sie es war, damit er rauskommt. Damit er weiterhin an SL9 arbeiten kann, weil es noch ein paar Tage offen ist. Don't ask me why. Ja, das ist alles, was ich momentan so habe. Ich meine, im Endeffekt ist es einfach Selbstmord gewesen, lul. Oh Gott, bitte nicht. So, what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in two different places at the same time. And a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scene. Lana! Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday, I was indisposed. I hope I didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished actually, I'm used to all-nighters though. So how did it go? As Mr. Wright suspects, the police are clueless. I figured as much, so struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agreed that if I told them the truth behind the simultaneous murder, they wouldn't see capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. But Lana, don't tell me you... Much to my regret, I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Sky, We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall. Ah, die Reaktion. Die verrät schon was. What kind of trace evidence? Bloodstained fingerprints, to be exact. That's a trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall? We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Sky? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. Nein, Drakes. Wir sind erst am zweiten Tag. Und ich bin mir sicher, dass es noch einen dritten Tag gibt. 100 Pro. Aber hallo, Drakes. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Ich meine, ich werde auch so lange streamen, bis ich vor Hunger umkippe. Ich habe eben gegessen, also... Ne? Passt das schon. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is... I'm afraid you will have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time. But is it physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room has just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edward's car. Whoa, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. And that's supposed to be an admirable trait? Very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls... Den Meekins. The suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. Ach, ich bin so gut, ey. The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer? Oh boy. Oh boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go. Oh, nicht der. Nein. Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Yes, sir. I'm Officer Mike Meekins, sir. My occupation is, there will be murder, sir. Ey, Mann. Nein. So you're telling us you're a professional killer? Sir, it was me, sir. I am the one who did it. I will never kill anyone again, sir. You've got to believe me, sir. Actually, what we would like to hear from you is, sir, I'm what you would call a part of the younger generation, sir. How meine Ohren? A person with actions adults can't possibly comprehend. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me, sir. Officer Meekins. Yes, sir? Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order. Yes, sir, as you wish. After all, I'm part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir. Spring von der Brücke runter, danke, sir. You can't fault him for lack of enthusiasm. Ich will aber. Crime report, sir. Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen on the... Warum musste er ihn bewachen? Warum musste er ihn bewachen? Warum musste er ihn bewachen? Die haben doch einen. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life. Then I did it. After that I passed out, until another officer smacked me awake. Vermutlich Ummel. So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you. Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Meekins family motto, sir. I see, then you fainted and the colleague helped you regain consciousness. Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need here is more info to work with. Pressen! So, ich denke mal, das ist das, was mich am meisten irritiert hat. Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not? Yes, sir. I am in charge of hiring new recruits, sir. Yikes, now there's a scary theft. Evidence transfer was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks that ordinarily performed. Verdammt. I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir. The Blue Badger? Yes, sir, the lovely policeman is created by the chief of detectives, sir. I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transfer process. That was my... Okay, der ist schon abgeweckt gewesen. That was my sole mission for the day, sir. I see. Sounds like a very important mission. After the award ceremony finished the day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room. Tell us, what did you see when you got there? Spotted a suspicious man. Hold it! In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct? Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck. So then your ID number should be listed on here, right? There it is, I found it. This is the one right here. Could you please read us the number? Yes, sir, it's 4989596. That's my number, sir. I see, huh? But the number 49 is shown as being used twice. Oh, hallo Velocity. Okay. Jetzt halt die Frage. Wieso? Hm. Hm. Please explain, witness. It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the blue badge to the evidence room, and the second time is when we got back. When I went to go get him after everything settled down. I see. So it was during the second time when. Yes, sir. That was when I spotted this man. Aber wie kam er rein? Naja, du schaust mir zu, Velocity. Das ist schon mal ganz gut. Ich bin jetzt kein Fan davon, so viele Beweise gerade zu haben, ne? Okay. Irgendwas in der Liste ist irgendwas ist hier falsch. Irgendwas ist hier falsch. Ich meine, Bruce ging, also Goodman ging vor Meekins ran, das ist klar. Aber ich weiß nicht warum, aber irgendwas sagen, dass diese Liste verdammt wichtig wird. Ja gut, Velocity halt. Tja. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you? It was a knife, sir, a knife. Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you? What happened then? Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was. You aren't exactly the kind of person someone who would want to run into. That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. Okay, that's how I got his gash in my hand. Maybe if you would just keep your cool, your hand wouldn't be... When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar. What exactly do you mean when you say you did it? I know I don't look like the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him. You took his knife? I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man. Okay. Wow, Velocity. I see. He must have been desperate. The next thing I knew is his white coat was drenched in the sea of my blood, and then wait. No. Wo haben wir's? Habe ich kein Bild davon? Habe ich das Bild nicht bekommen? Wait a second. Das ist es nicht. Wir sahen ihn ja ohne Blut, die Leiche. Das Einzige, was wir wissen, ist, dass sie eine... Oh, jetzt wird alles klar. Also nichts eigentlich, aber nur ein bisschen. Then the next thing I knew... Yes? He punched me right in my face, sir! About what time did you regain consciousness? No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious. Oh, right. According to the report from the officer who woke up the witness, it was about 5:30. He hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying tears of pain. That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you recovered this. When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir. Your mission? Yes, sir, the Blue Badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hands. Well, we can all rest easy now. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point. Yes, Officer Meekins. With regards to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir. The chief? Delivered it? What is it that? Videotape? Yes, sir, that's absolutely right, sir. Videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room. Warum macht Gent das Verve so schwer? Warum macht das Edgeworth so schwer? Was hat Gent davon? What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape. I was told it had been mistakenly erased. That's quite a mistake. I just do what I am told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at. Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever. Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim. Oh, please stop using that word murder, sir. It scares me. A video of a real murder. Yeah. Just what are we getting ourselves into? Okay. Diese Zensierflagge, verdammt! Tolle Kamera. Wir sehen legit nichts. Wait, wo ist die Leiche? Well, I believe that we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us? What the hell was that reeling piece of plywood? Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire criminal affairs department, sir. It's the blue badges, sir. Why am I not surprised this isn't going so smoothly? Security video, that's record. Yes, well, anyway. Kann ich das anschauen nochmal? Was ist jetzt am Anfang? Da, ich sehe es. Da am Anfang. Da ist nichts. Da, am Anfang. Achtet auf den ersten Spind da, oben links. Da ist nichts drin. Da ist nichts drin. Da ist nichts drin gewesen. Da ist immer noch nichts drin. Da fällt ein Handschuh raus. Ist immer noch nichts drin im Spind. Da wird er angegriffen. Da wehrt er sich. Und es sah halt nicht so aus, als würde er sich wirklich wehren. Der gute Meekins. Da war wieder nichts im Spind. So, und jetzt hier im Spind ist was drin. Keine Ahnung, anscheinend schon Twax, aber gute Musik geht mir auf den Nerv. Yes, well, anyway. This tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone. Und ich bin mir relativ sicher, wem auch immer der Spind da links gehört, ist die Person gewesen, die da drin war. Und ich glaube, das war wirklich der Marshall. Entweder Marshall oder der Polizeichef. Die haben einen Spind. Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness testimony will suffice. Is that alright with you, Officer Meekins? Yes, sir, as you wish, sir. Mystery Man. His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker which required Detective Goodman's fingerprints too, though. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him, no one else could have unlocked it. What's this about a fingerprint? Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belonged to. Intriguing, that would mean the victim at the crime scene would have been Detective Goodman. Very well, that the defense may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. Mystery Man. Tell me, were you able to get a good look at him? At the face of the man who attacked you with a knife? Sir, if you must label people as having seen or not seen the man's face, I believe it would be classified as the latter. The latter? But you were standing right in front of him, were you not? More to the point, you are the person who fought him, aren't you? Oh, yes, sir, but I didn't get a clear look at his face, sir. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people when talking with them, you see. Schaut immer auf die Brüste der Frauen! Yeah, that's a good trait for a police officer. Still, I'm sure it was him, I bet my badge on it. But you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face. Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people as having seen or not seen. Since his face can't be identified in this video, only you can verify it. Why is everyone looking at me? If I had to label your style as disturbing or... Meekins! Having been shown a questionable video at best, we are not in the best of moods. Now please be more certain when you testify. Yes, sir. You claimed the man who brandished a knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you are positive it was him. I mean, he opened the locker which required Detective Goodman's fingerprints to do, though. About these lockers, is there no other way to open them? No, sir, I myself tried all kinds of methods in the past. They only respond to regular fingerprints, sir. I wonder what kind of methods he tried. If the man opened the locker's lock, which only responds to this regular fingerprints, then he must be the person the locker was assigned to. Exactly my point, sir, and this too. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. How do you know that information? I've heard rumors, sir, from people in the know, sir. People in the know? The workers in the department cafeteria, sir. They keep me informed. They also listen to my romantic troubles, sir. What a record. The opened locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source. So the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint. However, the most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face. Sir, if I may say something, sir. Please do, after all, you're the only one being examined. I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. And it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state can testify enough to this, sir. Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie. That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it. Mr. Wright, let's check the record again. Is there a problem with the video? Yes! Ich sah mehrere Probleme. Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange. Strange? This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman. What? This video contains a contradiction? Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth. I propose we have a defense. Point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video. Okay, ich will einfach mal speichern, weil ich nicht genau weiß, wo ich das zeigen muss. You would want me to point it out. Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this video of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of. I have to point out the problem in the video. This is the first time I've ever had to do that. You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up so you can fast forward. Oh, Gott sei Dank, danke. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing. Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video. How did this guy ever become a police officer? Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indirects the man? The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Yes, it is strange. Something certainly seems unnatural about that. What could it mean? Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Wright, but you seem to have forgotten the point of this exercise. The point? What you're looking for is one thing and one thing only. Something that indicates the man may not be Detective Goodman. Oh, yeah. Phew. I almost walked right into the defense trap. I place him under arrest, sir. Rats, I need to slow down and tackle these things one piece at a time. Now what do I do? Hä? Das war's nicht? Very well, let's try this again. Just remember one thing, Mr. Wright. Every time you point your finger, someone gets hurt. Says the one pointing his finger does. Okay. Versuchen wir aber mal. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Okay. Was wollen... Ich war mir sicher, dass es richtig lag. Mann, was wollen die von mir? The thing that's strange about this video would have to be this. Hold on a second, I need to use my eye drops. Well, I don't get it. Would you mind if I borrowed your eye medicine? Don't look at me with those bleary eyes. Before your eyes get too teary, perhaps you should think this through again, Now what do I do? Was wollen die von mir? Was wollen die hier von mir? Hä? Ja, bitte ein Tipp, weil ich habe 5000 Ideen, was es sein kann und nichts davon ist es. Oh, meine Fresse, ey. Also ich habe 5 Sachen, fünf Sachen alleine, die halt einfach schon komisch bei dem Video sehen, aber nein, ist ja alles falsch. Ah. Ich weiß, was ich gemacht habe. Ja, ich habe das mit den Spinnen schon probiert, aber es will nicht. Ich kann es genau mal probieren. Weil hier sieht man ja den linken da, ne? Wait, Moment mal ganz kurz. Okay, das war's nicht. Ich habe halt so viele Sachen, die in dem Video falsch sind. Mit so einem Spaß, es dann immer wieder zeigen zu dürfen. Okay. Nee, ich habe keine Ahnung. Ich habe 5 Sachen, die falsch sind im Video und alles ist falsch. Alles klar. Du nur. Wie soll ich das Licht ausprobieren? Ja, ja, lass mich aber das Video mal starten hier. Was ist jetzt das oder was? Oh! Okay, dann muss ich das Licht anklicken, meine Herren. Ah. Thing that's strange about this video has to God be... Oh Gott sei Dank, ey. Ey, sorry, ich habe 5 Sachen, die falsch in dem Video sind, ne? Oh, nicht auf das Licht geachtet. Ah. Officer Meekins. Sir, do you mean me, sir? As I understand, Warum? The locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint if it's a match. The light turns on and the lock is released. According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir. If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. Ich will vorspulen. Alter. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind to a little earlier. Here, notice the light? What's this? It's already lit. Oh, danke, die Musik hört auf. Gott, geht die Musik auf den Nerv. Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. Oh! Order, order, what's the meaning of this? It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When the door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked. Oh, I know, it must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this. That's not. Ich weiß, was es war. Your Honor, the sensor would detect the report in any malfunction. Oh well, it just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation? Me, Your Honor? Yes, why wasn't the locker locked? Me, Your Honor? Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Mr. Scientific Investigator? Huh? Oh, maybe something like jammed the system sensor. Something jammed the sensor? Say, there's something else that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage. Very well, let's inspect the video once more. The locker was... What auch immer. La, 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 la. Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. Oh mein Gott! Oh, so kein Fan davon gerade. What's this? Something white fell out of the locker. But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are opened. I often fall out and roll a great distance when I open my irgendwas. We can't be sure that the item was completely inside the locker to begin with. What do you mean? The sensor triggered the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door? Inserted? Alter. This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing, my tie but the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door. Not only that, it would also have to block the electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator. Yes, an insulator, but this crime scene, there just might have been something that fits the description. Gummihandschuhe. But sir, by insulator you mean... I think I finally got this figured out. Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence? Or was this insulator that was stuck in the locker door? I found this near the locker, a thin rubber glove. But we can't be sure that it was in the victim's locker. It has a tag that says SL9 incident. The video seems to depict the video opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened the locker. Is this not so, Miss Officer Meekins? Sir, it would appear so, sir. Order! 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 So, are we to believe then that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman? Do not mislead, Your Honor. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? Naja, es ist immer noch nicht bewiesen, dass es wirklich nicht Mr. Goodman war. The defense has merely demonstrated the possibility and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. What? Officer Meekins, please testify about this. Sir, me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir. Is this a joke? Is this a JoJo reference? Very well, begin your testimony. Mystery Man 2. Electric Boogaloo. There's one other thing that proves that the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there was a record of it. Ja, aber nein. Aber doch, scheiße. Bruce Goodman war vor Meekins drin. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had to use this card. An ID card record, I see. I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 5:14 instead of the victim. Just before the crime, Yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing that strikes me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transfer. Why were there so few people using this room? This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police stuff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transfer there, and most were cleared up by noon. Right, I see. Now let us move on to the cross-examination. Oh, Junge. So, unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this is to be rock solid, do you? Yes, sir, solid as stone, sir. If my hand wasn't wrapped in bandages, I would even give the V for victory sign, sir. Couldn't you just use his right hand for that? Let's hear him out fully. As you've seen, one never knows what he might say until the very last second. Is that card hanging from your neck one of those ID cards? Yes, sir, that card next to my cuff, sir. I keep it there so I won't ever forget it. But what if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that? Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. Remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I get out of a car? Well, the remaining time it's my ID card that got stuck. Sat at the door closing my ID cards. Maybe I should just leave this one alone. At any rate, each police officer has only one ID card. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this. Please proceed with your testimony. Let it be noted that this is the record that witness is referred to. Let me see. Yes, that would be Detective Goodman. What's the matter? According to this, Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here. So it is, Your Honor. Blood prosecutor again. Mommy, is that man in blue a murderer? What? Don't stare at him. You've got the wrong color, kid. It would seem the Inquiry Committee will want to speak with you again today. I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue with the cross-examination. Poor Mr. Edgeworth, it must be so difficult for him. Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you. Yes, sir, he didn't show me any ID card, sir. Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife. Maybe he just panicked. Everything stems from contradictions, let's point them out. Mr. Wright, what do you think? I'm confused. What? The problem with this ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this. You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show them what we got. Ich denke ziemlich hart drüber nach gerade. So einfach? Wait one moment, Officer Meekins. I'm not good at waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene. That makes sense. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. Lost item report? It's only half completed. But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out his report. Let me guess, you believe this something to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Order, order, order. So now, what does this all mean? It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much stuff. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Immer noch kein richtiger Beweis, aber ich kann damit arbeiten. Order, order, order. Does the prosecution have a response? I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo? Allow me to summarize this defense argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the local evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. What's he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in this evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is... well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't going to end well. Well, well, it seems you finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove. Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth. The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means the murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot. At the prosecutor's office, the murderer being Miss Lana Sky, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness. Observe the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Nicht gut. I knew that testimony was too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman. Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else, Lana. What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? Kann ich objecten? Ich weiß es nicht. One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. Residenzlieber. Da! However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further explanation into the truth of the matter. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared? I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. Mr. Wright, do you mean... Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness. Oh, whom do you have in mind? Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear this person's name, before deciding whether or not to comply. Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would have to testify, what is his name? Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? I cannot actually know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is postponed. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time? We will, Your Honor. Court is now in recess. Yay! There is no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Huh? What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you have figured everything out. I haven't figured anything out. Lana, you're the one who knows everything. Emma? You always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? Hope I'm not interrupting anything, Pauls. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Rip, Ummel. Wait, Ummel, what is it? You've got a lot of nerve, Paul, making a detective run all around while on duty. At the top of it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Sorry, detective. You better be, Paul. Hey. I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky. That's okay, so have you brought what I asked? Oh. You mean this, right? My apologies, detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when I'm making my request. My name? Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I will need them by noon. Talk about crazy. The SL9 incident? But Lana, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might do well to read them. In 30 Minuten. I can't believe you, the chief prosecutor, were a witness in the case. Miss Sky, what was a witness? Files for the Joe Dark killings solved 2 years ago. Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murders. Oh, what? Now that I've brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me? Emma? But why? Why is your name in here? What? What? My name is in there? I don't know, unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana, this SL9 incident, is that... That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as... The Joe Dark killings. The Joe Dark? No. No, Lana! That's over with. No! Emma, wait! She ran away. You know what? I just remembered I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, Paul, but I'm out of here. Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gunt, Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you, you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. I'd better take a good look at this file. To be continued. Es kommen nur mehr Fragen auf. Ah. Das war mehr als 30 Minuten, aber egal. The court will now recommend for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand, the officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Spiel ein Theme. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me partner? Me partner? Oh, I'm just a man same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly across the intersections when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh, I know, you're a patrolman. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind? I've never heard Edgeworth described it that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner. Übrigens, dass ich überhaupt Messer mit reinnehmen darf, ist hier schon ziemlich riskant, aber okay. According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? Desperado soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English. Day of the crime. My job was to keep a wary eye out of the Bone Orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room is protected by 2 security cameras anyway. 2? If I remember right, there was a street side saloon at the time it went down. Just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time to hit a trail. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your burr, but you don't see me complaining. Whoa! Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security cameras systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks and evidence blockers? Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled Doohikes are those? Spielt dumm. Ich wusste es. He's not being very helpful. He's not that good with machines or with following orders. Everyone's got their weakness now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. Cowboy, du bist dran. Ich hol das Lasso raus. How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's still. Even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interrupted the recordings. You interrupt them? Readers of nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase a tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. This guy has a flair for the dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. So, in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? And you heard a word to say to partner. I told you that ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado I know lets rules get in his way. No desperados I know join the police force. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, just between you and me, I didn't see a foot in the evidence room that day. There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner, can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. How does this guy avoid being fired? Das ist laut. You used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course, back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence. And yet you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism. Sorry, partner, I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite incredible. The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Now that you mention it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that too. At any rate, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place? What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel steak lunches can beat that parrot's Von Gogh's sepia pasta. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. That's strange. This is usually where Edgeworth says. Did you not want to race this year? It was an innocent rebel. Out of ammo, Officer Marshall? That's right, partner, or as you would call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, then you'd better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west in the sunset. One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texans don't take orders from anyone, everyone knows that. Apparently your superiors don't. Okay, I have the trump card up my sleeve, so I best keep my cool. Before I use it though, I've better up the ante. Okay. Wo ist meine Trump Card, bitte? Ich habe keine Ahnung, was ich hier machen muss. Serial murder sentence death. Victims Edward Jones, Edith Kirby, Jeb Bates, Jason Knight, Rachel Moss, Neil Marshall. Oh. 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 Head prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, witnesses Lana Skye, Emma Skye. Executive investigators Damon Gant, Lana Skye. Head investigator Bruce Goodman, investigators Jake Marshall, Angel Starr. Hallo Wheeler, du hast einiges verpasst und siehst jetzt, wie ich struggle. Was muss ich ihm reindrücken? Nee, ich muss ehrlich sagen, der Case gefällt mir überhaupt nicht. Das mit dem Video ging mir schon genug auf den Nerv. Ich denke, ich muss entweder hier oder hier was reindrücken. Ich hab keine Ahnung. Ich habe null Ahnung, was ich drücken muss. Ich wünschte, ich hätte die 2000 Beweisstück gerade. Jetzt im Ernst? Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as God? That is, you're being called to testify like this? After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. Wenn ich's könnte. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind the scene. Or, to be exact, a handprint. Ach, das war sein Handabdruck. Listen really good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of the crypt. I pay my respects and just make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there. I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Witness! What's the meaning of this? Your bloodstained fingerprints were at the crime scene? The blood was wiped away. However, a luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall? It seems to me There ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulder. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall. About the blood-stained fingerprints. Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints, found at the scene of the crime. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in the evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the blood-stained handprints. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprints was by chance. Mein Stream läuft auf 60 Frames. Also ist wahrscheinlich das Spiel. Aber ist wirklich 60 FPS wichtig bei dem Spiel hier? The bloodstain and the fingerprints are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? Ach, Wheeler. Du kleine Grafikhure, du. See, I had nothing to do with it. Also nebenher. Oh nein, jetzt kommt's. Übrigens mal so nebenher. Ihr könnt meinen Kanal subscriben. Was? Momentan 3. Naja, 2,5. Ich vermisse, dass er wie im 4. Fall war, aber einfach dann das unnötig rausgelöscht wurde. Weil das brauche ich noch irgendwo. Keine Ahnung, ob ich das wirklich brauche, aber ich hab's trotzdem. Aber naja. The witness explanation appears valid. Although there's room for doubt. Echt? Warte. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ja. Sind dann 35 Beweisstücke. Was? Oh, wow. Die sind noch schlimmer. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. This guy's hiding something, I can feel it. Now's the chance to prove it. Ach, Desperado Boy. Desperado Raketen! That's because you, how did you put it, pay your respects once a month. Yeah, that's right, that and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. Nein? Wait! Oh mein Gott, er hat sich gerade selbst ausgespielt. Oh, er hat sich gerade so selbst ins Bein geschossen. Oh mein Gott, er ist so dran. Er ist so tot. Oh, Marshall. Oh, Jake. Warum musstest du deinen Bruder so, was auch immer, rächen wollen? Den Neil. Oh, Marshmallowmon. I mean what I said. That's a locker I used when I was detective. The locker I still use. Er ist so tot. Oh mein Gott, er ist so dran. Yikes. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. I see. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently his fingerprints data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprints log all this time without ever knowing it. Marshall's fingerprints updated in the court record. So then, what about the bloody handprint? Wasn't mine, it's no mystery. Please explain. My locker is covered with my fingerprints. It just so happened. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprints were up chance. The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could agree just the opposite. The chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward from me with a mirror fingerprint. You wanna know why? Unrelated. They're as different as night and day. Kinda like cereal and cereal. One's got to do with breakfast while the other has a type of murder. He's right, although seemingly alike, they are totally different. I don't see what harmonious have to do with this. Or did you know that murder was wearing gloves? How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up the reports. There was a blood stain at the scene to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found in Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on the handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. Oh mein Gott, die Zahnräder in meinem Kopf rasen gerade durch. Ey, ich habe 5 Millionen Möglichkeiten gerade. The murderer wearing gloves happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprints. That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? This seal of blood in the desert. It's just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this. The security tape. So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise. Oh, Junge, du schießt gerade so ins eigene Bein, boy. This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Well then, continue your testimony, Mr. Marshall. Okay. Fuck. Fuck. Einen versuche ich noch, danach lade ich kurz neu. Warte mal einmal, was ist mit der Frage? What do you mean by that? You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. But the video is next to useless, it's full of blind spots. Blind spots? Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth, the floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall's... Entschuldigung, das muss ich kurz machen. Entschuldigung. Aber ich will meine HP zurückhaben. Es tut mir leid, aber das muss gerade sein. Denn ich habe jetzt nicht geholdet. Ich dachte, ich hätte jetzt geholdet. Aber okay. Ich habe den Beweis. Ich habe den Beweis, Leute. Yes. Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Treat carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake. Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incredible... Diese Musik ist gar nicht nervig. Nein, 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 nein. Nein, 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 nein. Get fucked. Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you will soon not forget, Officer Marshall. The days are short in Texas and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Exactly 8 words, not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That locker with the white glove sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Oh, this video gameplay ist so spannend, ey. Oh, the white glove, it's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white glove wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Order! Order! It would seem that's the hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was opened? It doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. Doch? The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened the locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Junge, die haben einen out. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? You're so dead, boy. This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on you, parrot, but you're the only person who can open a particular locker. Oh yeah, I call your bluff. You say you opened the locker, now prove it. Fingerprint sensor? We talked about this earlier today. The locker can only be opened by the detective they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people in the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? I only got 1 word for you, partner. No! Oh God! It's me, Dio! Order, order, order. Witness, explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you this one is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Ole! Please answer the question. Judge, bitte. What is he now, a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here. We can? Have a look at his floor plans. There's no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right, the only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? Office Marshall? Office. Bureau Marshal was standing right there. Here. So Officer Meekins didn't notice him standing there. That's almost as credible as Meekins' warp theory. Your chamber's empty, partner. Better reload. What? Now they're ganging up on me. What? Perhaps. You should think a little more about what was. What? War nicht das Victim. Gehen wir kurz hier drauf, einfach mal zum Testen. Officer Marshall was standing right here. There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman. Oh mein Gott, ja. Ah! Oh mein Gott. Goodman ist ja Victim, nicht Killer. Ah. Ich dachte gerade, Meekins wäre der Victim. Oh mein Gott. Ja, smart. That's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective's crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he would know for sure. May I point out though that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir. Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me. Something about that officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Oh, I get it. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? Ich meine, man kann ja einfach Meekins reinholen und sagen, hey, kennst du den? Und dann sagt, oh, das ist Goodman. Und dann zack, boom. Aber okay. You've got quite an imagination, partner. Was ist das auf Holz? We got a term for that, it's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as a victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Well, Mr. Wright, do we have any... Speichern. Officer Marshall dressed up as a victim. Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. Ich hab Beweise. This can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics? Mein Badge! For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was open in the first place? What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it's been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. Ja, ich muss ein Badge zeigen. Easy. The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that. He opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered question. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my... Nicht schon wieder! Very well, let's take another look at this security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white glove. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker. Oh! Oh, ich weiß es. Ich weiß es. Da ist es weiß. Da! Zurück! For some reason you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman and enter the evidence room, though I don't know to what end yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barked in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. Ich bin so smart. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now, wouldn't we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. Alright. It seems the time has come. Marshall's confession. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered then, how could it be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Okay. Ich bin am Arsch. Pepe, please! Gib mir Kraft. Tanzt. When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? The SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transfer that day. Not if I had anything to do with it. That incident is not over. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only that case lead detective can look through the evidence. I want to have a look at it myself one more time, no matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner, that case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of the investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That day was my last chance, that's why I... Kann ich es schon jetzt machen? Nee. Oh! Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like a Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera. And the detective's ID card? I saw that the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman started filling out the lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open the lock yourself. But it could because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. You put a knife on Officer Meekins and try to drive him off. Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a 1 in a million type of person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I will have to think a little more about his races here. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me and ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way, with me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say. So you knocked Officer Meekins out and... So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your code in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in a security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So what you are saying is on that day, there wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates that a crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim was shown on the tape as me. I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the locker. Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Miss Edgeworth, where is that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer, this is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Revenge. Like I said, this isn't your case, this one is mine. And I will do anything it takes to get an answer. I'm satisfied with it. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joe Dark was convicted for his crime. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence. I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concerned with the incident? Ich weiß es warum. Maybe I should present him what I think is his real reason is. I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone is involved here is related in some way to the case. I would better take another look at the files. So, wo war das? Victims. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. Volltreffer. In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? Yeah. I'm sure I've heard the name. 2 years ago, he received the same lousy prosecutor's award you got. What? A prosecutor? He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right, he was killed. And the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you? He was my brother. He was investigating the murders of Damon Gunt, the then deputy chief of police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least, according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of crime. That was the last day this SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with this resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. The things that happened by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance? It's got to be more than just that. So if no one wants murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one. Which, in turn, means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. But wait! A verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convinced yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. It seems to me this boy's got a draw on you, partner. All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. And the testimony of one Miss Angel Starr is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. Arg. I rest my case. It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt that what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake, but I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This Curtis finds the defendant, Emma. Yes. Your Honor, wait! Emma! The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright? Are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor, in a sense. Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. Oh, was he a good guy? I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out that SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dark killings. Now that you mention it, the names of both guys were in the file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprints had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing, the auto handprint. You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I would be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. So did you find something? No. Huh? Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. Is that all? Please don't be mad, I'm just a high school student. And I am just an attorney. Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clues we have. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard of the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears that the defense is troubled by the ordered blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with the blood mark, Lana will be... Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If ever I've needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm just missing? This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is you're grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there? Yes, something that when drawn will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Das tue ich. Very well, Mr. Wright. With all this evidence here, there's got to be something I can use. The question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans? Bitte lass es nicht sein. Are you fucking real? What about that piece of plywood? The Blue Badger, master of the police force, defender of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself now. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger's not here. So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Oh. Ich hab daran nicht mal gedacht. Well, what? That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at that spot on the locker. Naja. Ich nehme das einfach mal. What? So that means, just exactly what does it mean? Einfach 200 IQ von mir. Ich bin einfach smart. It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniable found at that locker. Don't look at me, I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. Emma. On that afternoon. Officer Meekins was the one who brought the blue badge to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on the locker. So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the blue badge was brought in. Just one moment, I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once but twice. But how? One time was captured on this tape taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand from which a tribal amount of blood fell. The problem is the other time. Someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be fake. However, it does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. Kannst du haben. Vielleicht. When did the first incident occur? To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. That's right, the blood mark on the locker proves this. Very well, then tell us. When did this first incident occur, as Mr. Edgehoff said? Proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place? This is the proof. It's quite simple, you see. If it's so simple, then don't get it wrong. Oh. Es sah grad so richtig aus, Mann. Ah. Es sah so richtig aus. If a crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. In order to do so, an ID card would have been required. An ID card? Oh, an ID card record. Officer Meekins brought a blue badge panel into the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be... Der Badge war's nicht, schade. 4:40 p.m. Ah! Oh! Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done? I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of tough to figure out it couldn't have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand that either. It's clear from the luminol test that the blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's look at the chart again. There's only one other card number remaining, 777777777. Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of this card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 777777. Es war Gent. Miss Edgeworth, please look into this as ASAP. Final booth ID number is 77777777. That's 1 7 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of the ID card. At least at present. What? Explain yourself, son. The ID number 77777 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. Oh my god, das ist der verdammte Gent. Das war Epic 7. Nein! Someone with a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. But that's ridiculous, just how? I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There's one situation in which we can be granted such authority. If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge? You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay, let me ask a question. Yes? No, not to you, to her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana? Don't be stupid, she's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number and it's not 77777. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. The SL9 incident? Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Do we need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for the trial. At the time occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Lana? I became a prosecutor in order to suppress the crime of the law. But before I realized it, we were at once being suppressed by the law. Defendant, just what are you saying? I will ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me and an investigator in the crime in the eye and say that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't. I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana! even if it involved forging evidence. See? That's what I'm talking about. No. No! Order, 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 order! Lana's remarks caused such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled, would have to wait until the following day. Uff. Mensch, Tag 3, wer hat damit gerechnet? Nein, 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 ich will nicht nochmal auf Beweissuche gehen. Bitte nicht. Nein, 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 nein. Bitte nicht. Bitte nicht. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. I didn't know. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dark killings. Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me. Lana wanted Dark convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean what happened to you? It's all there in the files. Ooh, nice. Joe Dark's last victim was prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. But what did he have to do with those killings, Emma? On the night Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me. What? He tried to kill you? Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. So that means you... Yes. I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial. I didn't see that one coming. It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of the year, too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. Joe Dark. It seems like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Dark tried to take me hostage. But before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then, what happened? I will never forget it. Lightning struck and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed out of the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw that burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now. A permanent picture? I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall, so you weren't able to testify about that. No, I was only asking about when I was attacked. That must be why she made up the crime. Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence? Bogus ist ein tolles Wort. The prosecutor's office wanted a guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it. Edgeworth? Yes, but I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean, it's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened. So it's true, even though he may not have known it. Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold, like she is today. She must not have been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma. What did you see in the instant the crime occurred? Dark knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. Mean Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl. I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma, you've been through so much. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that incident. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago, you must have been 14. That's understandable. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I would become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies and find evidence to make an airtight case. That way, Lana would never have to forge any. I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about the crime. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma. What is it? You said you were in Lana's office at the time, right? That's right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor. Oh, there's no mystery there. Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day. Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police? Of course, this has happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office. But why did he run all the way over to your sister's office? Because the detective office and the questioning room are right across from the elevator. Across from the elevator? But Lana was a chief prosecutor, wasn't she? No, silly, didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force. What? That's news to me. After the Joe Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Lana used to be a detective? I better have another talk with her. Lana, Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence. I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul, why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risk. Lana, Emma told me about you. Huh? About how you were a detective 2 years ago, and how the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about that unusual change of jobs? I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from the case was stolen as well, though I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. The trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana. I believed that no matter what happened, you would always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped, Emma. That trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15 there was no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana. What the witness, Miss Starr, said. About you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife. Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so faced before. It's true, I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing. They still talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. Chief Gant? He was a deputy chief of the police back then, but he still worked at the crime scenes. Damon Gant, he was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever, they solved crimes before their reports could have even been filled. Emma really idolized her big sister. But But now you're chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes, so you could use that experience in court, right? Gant's help in the SL9 case was crucial to its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detective's investigation, Dark. Second in command? That means the investigation lead was Damon Gant, right? Yes. Deputy Chief Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigation. They even had the same office? We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was Jake Marshall and Danger Star. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was a serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when his final murder took place, when he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened up in the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us? Damon Gant and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages and Dark must have suddenly panicked. So he waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down and fled the room. From there he ran straight to the office shared by Deputy Chief Gant and myself. That's where he found me. So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana. It appears so. I was filling some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Drake. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3 bodies? Prosecutor Marshall, the victim, Emma who had passed out, and the suspect, Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seems Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Dark is incurred in minor consciousness and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma, carried her out of the room and just held her. Can't blame her, after all the system must have gone through. After that I placed Dark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident. That's right. Quite a coincidence, huh? I don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident. Just by chance. But that case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall, yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Dark at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon, Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself, the Chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the Chief's office, the site of the final SL9 murder. I don't see Detective Gumshoe anywhere. Things seem kinda quiet around here today. You're right, the Chief of Detectives seems the same though. Why don't we go look for some other people to talk to? Right, we can come back here later. Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall. I never thought the things would turn out this way when I woke up this morning. With Sarah. You never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? Should have known my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over the prosecutor's office for a little integration. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why did prospectors head west? It's ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about it was if ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. Something was fishy about the trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either, all the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon? You mean the switchblade knife with the broken tip? That was Joe Dark's, alright. But in the initial autopsy report a question was raised. Question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound that the victim sustained. What does it mean? It means there's a good chance that knife was not a murder weapon. However, in the report it was finally submitted that possibility had been erased. Could your facts have been concealed with forged evidence? That case left behind scars on all of us. The scars that this SL9 incident left behind. I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I had just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old was he, your brother? He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor? You mean the King of Prosecutors? I knew it. What are you looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother. The day the SL9 incident took place, it wasn't the same day as... That's right, it was the day of the evidence transferal. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning and by nightfall there was thunder. I can't believe 2 years have gone by already. I tried to steal evidence so their case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered. The evidence locker was empty. There was something going on behind the scene in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation save one was taken care of. Miss Starr was fired and I was demoted to box away in a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? If they did something to him too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They? What are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Damon Gant and Lana Sky. The investigation lead Damon Gant and his second in command, Lana Sky. There wasn't a person in the force who hadn't heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah, Damon Gant, the new chief of police, arranged her for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Sky was totally different when she was a detective. Now that you mention it, Emma said something like that too. Tell me, what happened to my sister? Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. I never found out. Lana's secret, it all started 2 years ago. So, there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was certainly enlightening. There's one thing for sure I found out in the court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict. Ja, Matze. Und hallo, Matze. Also, wir sind nicht im Job, er wird gleich verhört. But someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina. No. Marshall. That must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for the brothers, they're all in the conference room. Thanks. Wow, he actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did and the decision about what to do about Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention our statement to the media and tomorrow's trial, there's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sir, we would like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just use the connection hallway to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right, you can't go in there, it's off limits. Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, what are you waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office. Okay. Er ist ein Bösewicht, verdammt. Warum hat er der Orgel hier stehen? Warum muss er ein Bösewicht sein? Ah. Why? Whoa, where am I? In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what I said. What it said on the door. There's no orgel there, yeah? Check out a pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in the kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. I thought I was genius until they tried teaching me notes. Nein, Matze. I never could remember where C was. Huh? Uh-oh. Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. He put a paper he was reading in his desk. So, Wright, have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full too with Mr. Marshall's misconduct and Lana's provocating statement. Provocating statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence? 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there? That's a picture of Lana, Neil and me. So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. We took it to the commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. Ich seh's! Und alles ergibt Sinn! Nichts! I can't quite seem to put my finger on it though. Schau dir die Vase an! Da, die Vase hier! Diese kaputte Vase! Diese kaputte Vase! Die ist da im Hintergrund. Weil die wichtig ist. Oh mein Gott. Oh mein Gott. Ich weiß noch nicht genau, wie ich die Vase benutzen will, aber die Vase ist ein sehr wichtiges Indizstück. I can't quite seem to put my finger on it though. Gant's team picture added to the call record. Mierda! Anyway, I would like to reminisce a little today, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm going to lock up here, so let's go out together. Oh, but this office. It was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case has long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we would still like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out, I have a meeting to attend. Der verheimlicht was. Looks like we aren't welcome. It seems that case isn't over with yet, after all. What do you mean? Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean like a clue? There's got to be a way we can get inside our chief's office. Hey, Paul. Detective Gumshoe, aren't you supposed to be in a meeting? I'm just taking a breather. My feet hurt from sitting so long. Actually, from serving everyone coffee. Sounds like Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop. Say, have either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No, why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battles between you two and Kurt. That sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it all boils down to. Dad falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. But why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Lana's guy is the guilty party here, isn't she? Regardless, the prosecutor is responsible for the evidence they present in court. Not only that, but as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth. His amazing talent as a prosecutor kept him safe from those who don't like him. But now with this, are there really so many people who hate him? In our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know of for making enemies. Hey Dick, keep up the good work. Yes sir. Let's go out for lunch again sometime, I might treat. Yes sir. You gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay Dick? Yes sir. It seems you don't have any problems with enemies. Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth just might crack. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing. He seems genuinely concerned over Edgeworth. Well, did you find out anything? The only evidence Doc left behind was during his final attack. His final attack? You mean when he killed Prosecutor Marshall who was trying to protect some girl? Me. Seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was the girl. That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all. Well, what was it? Oh, let's see. I think it had something to do with a murder weapon. Oh, I forgot. Look, look, it's all written somewhere in here, okay? His powers of recollection never fail to impress. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. It might shock his memory. Joe Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman. A businessman? What made him take to serial killing? One day on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car. With his car? So it was an accident. An accident, yes, but it had transformed him into an animal. An animal? He killed a man that witnessed the accident, then he killed a lady who saw the second crime. He killed a jogger and opened the scene and fucked my heart, and the father was killed as well, finally turned himself in. Seems he was pretty careless. Seems he was a pretty careless animal. Of course, this is all a conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence, so he turned himself in. Yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim. Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessing by someone too, but luckily Dark was arrested on the spot. Was ich mich jetzt frage. Also, bei ihm war es anscheinend so, dass das Ganze ein Muster hatte. Er killt nach dem Autounfall killt er die Person, die er das gesehen hat. Beim zweiten Mord killt er die Person, die das auch gesehen hat. Und es geht immer so weiter. Und ich denke, er wollte Lana Skye töten, weil sie den vorletzten Mord sah. Das ist meine Theorie jetzt. Deswegen hat er sie auch gestellt, damit er nah an Lana Skye rankommt. It's a good thing that last witness wasn't killed. That last witness? aka Emma. About this. Hey, is that... It has a tag attached to it with a label SL9 incident on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of. What are you doing with it, that? Ever since the case was closed, that knife has been locked away in a locker. On the day Detective Goodman was murdered, it suddenly disappeared from the locker. It was found amidst the Edgeworth's car muffler. That's it! Now I remember what the incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. Wait, what is it, detective? Quick, before you forget it again. Wow. Armer Ummel. Ummel kriegt keine Ruhe. This knife, it was Joe Dark's, wasn't it? That's right. We traced it back to the store he bought it at it, plus it had his fingerprints on it too. But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right? That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at that knife, you will see it's broken. You don't have to take a good look to notice that. Yeah, well, anyway. Take a guess where the broken of the tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in. Where was it? The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body. It was found deep inside a stab wound. Did it match Dark's knife? You bet, down to the last fiber. That's pretty conclusive. Needs autopsy report at the court record. Broken tip was found in the victim's body, belonged to murderer Joe Dark. Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know. Can I ask you one more thing? What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Kent. It's not money, but it does concern a chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where the prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. The chief's out now and his office is locked, but we'd like to have a look around if that's okay. Well, any detective's ID card can lock the door. What? Really? But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with breach of trust. Breach of trust? Simply put, I can't. Oh. Sorry, Paul. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's. That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died. Ah. So in other words, Gumshoe is our only chance of getting into that office. I wonder if there's something we could show him that would make him change of his mind. So leider kein Frühstück mehr. About that jar, I think I've seen it before somewhere. Somewhere? Or maybe it's one of those memories people have from previous lives. This must be the most uninformed detective I've ever met. Something about it makes me feel uneasy. It's like I'm in the chief's office and he's yelling at me. Chief Kent? Where could I have seen that before? Schade. Is it that's the king of prosecutors? Da, badge. Detective, here's my Bantonis badge. You show this to me every time we meet, Paul. Real man, show that police badge. Enough said. What's that badge? With an ID card would be nice. Okay. Okay. Muss ich ihm zeigen? Yeah, Mr. Edward gave it to us. Okay, detective, quick, run! Achoo! It's any help. One time I took a nap on a bench with wet paint. Why am I not confronted? Yes, there was one. Ah, das war's. Okay. Someone with the executive office number. Das ist vielleicht 777777777. That's 17 too many, detective. An executive officer. I just might have a hunch. Haben wir es jetzt schon? Na. Hier später nochmal zurückkommen. No one's here today, not even a star. Everyone's probably busy looking into what exactly went down in the evidence room. That must be where the detectives are. Also, es kann sein, dass ich noch bekommen kann. Muss nicht sein, dass ich es schon habe. Also, es heißt einfach, dass ich ein Item brauche. Also, ich habe es eigentlich gehofft, dass ich jetzt hier auf Miss Star treffe, weil die mir dann wieder so ein Lunch gibt. Das kann ich dann Ummel geben, um ihn zu bestechen. Aber leider ist sie nicht da. Fucking Angel. No one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case. But instead it looks like we just ended up making Lana look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lana. I've got to find all the evidences by tomorrow. I wonder if Edros is back yet. There he is, looks like he's writing something. What are you doing here? He sure was quick to throw the paper on the floor. Tough day incurred, huh? I've had to live the past 2 years with rumors flying around. What's another allegation to me? Cheer up, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm rooting for you. That's Edgeworth for you. Always trying to hide his real feelings. So what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. Das hatte ich da gerne. I wonder what he was writing before. Come on, Mr. Wright, let's take a look. Are you crazy? Edgeworth was sitting right there. Just distract him, I'll check it out. Hey Edgeworth? The detective Gumshoe at the window there? Oh no, he's falling to the ground. Hold on, first let me see what this girl's doing crawling under my feet. He didn't even look. What? Let her off. Das ist das Smugface schon wieder, ey. If you're having trouble reading, I'll read it for you. It says letter of resignation. Resignation? Edgeworth, you don't mean... I'm tired, right? I feel as if something is inside of me has died. But, Mr. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault. I know the path I've walked, you don't need to tell me. And the path I've walked hasn't been just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done. And no one else should forgive me either. Uh-oh. I think he's serious. Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something. This letter of resignation, I wonder if I can use it for anything. Ich weiß wofür. Danke, Edgy. There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to, and nothing I do can erase that fact. But you didn't know, didn't you? I mean that the evidence was falsified. The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error. My responsibility is as a prosecutor in charge. That fact remains the same, no matter what excuses I might have. Mr. Edgeworth, I take pride in my work, so tell me why. Tell me why! Why has it all come to this? Even Edgeworth can't keep this kind of emotion bottled up. Are you up for the trial tomorrow? First last year's trial and now this one. It seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves. But Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out on the trial. Tomorrow is the last day, it's too late to change prosecutors. I bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought that the case would come back to haunt me like this. What do you mean? The list of evidence, it seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. It's only half as long as most lists? That is odd. After Neil Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but I knew what I had to do. Use the evidence I was given to prove the suspect guilty. That was really the only thing on my mind at the time. Say, we just saw a picture taken around the time. That picture, something seemed strange about it. Could you tell us again about what happened that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered? You were participating in a ceremony over the station, right? I've never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one. Because you were awarded this. Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on a ceremony. Dieses Smugface, ey, mein Gott, ey. Mach mich da horny. I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department. You finished up at the office? Yes, just odds and ends, clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is, until I was asked to take something back. Take something back? This. Oh yeah, Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he? Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office. That's the story we heard yesterday. So you came back here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to? That's right. This picture was hanging on the wall in Chief Gant's office. Prosecutor Neil Marshall, he had just started making a name for himself. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yes? The trophy Mr. Marshall is holding, it's a little different than yours. Yes, you're right. Ah, I remember now. Remember what? That was what the official prosecutor's trophy looked like until 2 years ago. There's a story behind its design. A story? Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling it to us? It's simple, really. Contradictions, that's what the award based on. This award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with two characters. The first means halberd, and the second means shield. Have you heard this story? Me? Sure, everyone knows that. Why don't you tell it though? For Emma's sake. Very well. Long ago, in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. Geschichtsunterricht mit Edgy. Yay! One day he presented the king with two items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield or armor. The second was a shield he claimed could withstand any weapon. Würde nicht die Halberd stärker als das Schild sein und deswegen... Those claims contradict each other. Verdammt, ich wusste es. Hallo Chris. Very perceptive, but then again, you've heard this story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very description of these items discredited them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless. And thus the Chinese word for contradiction was born. Oh, I see. So the chipped shield and broken knife symbolize? Precisely so. They symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words, but it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion. Even if it results in something as ugly as this. Wow, thanks Mr. Edgeworth, I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, then why were you only given a shield? You will have to ask Chief Grant. 2 years ago he had the halberd part of the award abolished. Chief Grant. King of Persecution. Es ist echt wichtig für den Fall. So, dann... Excuse me? Boobs! Ich bin Angel. Boobs, hi. Would you either of you care for a quarter pound of roast beef? Roast beef. Miss Star, I guess she's out of lunches. You certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? Kind of like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple to discover milk. But still, I never thought you would go digging up that case from you years ago. Ich meine, ich würde dich gerne melken, oder was auch immer du von mir willst. Ach, das wird doch geklippt, oder? Bitte nicht. Everyone in this trial was involved in the SL9 incident. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very day the evidence from that case was due for transferal. This can all be attributed to mere coincidence. Aren't you forgetting something? Matze 9! Aren't you forgetting? You know that little scene I happened to witness? The instant Lana stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Roast beef is meant to be severed to have eaten. Miss Star's hatred toward Lana. It all dates back to 2 years ago. Joe Dark. That's a name I will not soon forget. We trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. Oh, the pressure. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than I was then. Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Poor old Jake Marshall, though, must have been going through hell. You mean because of his brother's death? They were close, though, those two. Ach, das wird doch geklippt, oder? Bitte nicht. Wow, Matze. Wow. Wow. Ey, Matze, dafür war nicht dich. Nee. Oh mein Gott. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Hallo, Jak. Jetzt der Jak da ist, kann ich dich nicht mehr bannen, Matze. Das ist Jak mad auf mich. Tut mir leid. Also, du bleibst verschont, aber nur dieses Mal. Dank Jak. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate. Her? Lana Skye. My sister? Oh, Jack, no! No! Du musst jetzt ein Good Guy sein. The best of the best were put on its SN9 case. Of course they were led by that legendary duo. Lana and Chief Gant. That legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned out. You mean with the forging of evidence? Don't get me wrong, Joe Dark got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Ich habe eigentlich Mods, aber diese Mods sind nie da. Außerdem, ich brauche eigentlich keine Mods, ich habe halt meistens einen relativ ruhigen Jet, das ich benehmen kann. Außer Jack ist da und zieht die Hosen wieder aus. Items our team never found will suddenly appear while our other items were kept secret. But you don't have proof anything illegal was done. I am proof enough of what happened. After that case, all of us save Goodman were relieved of our duties. Most without even so much as an explanation. Then, Lana Skye transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief prosecutors. Lana always wanted to be a prosecutor. Nothing is quite as simple as it appears, huh? Lana Skye was merely being used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter. She was being used? Damon Gant. Ich meine, allein, dass er Damon heißt schon, dass er böse ist. Ich meine, Demon, hallo? Und nicht der fucking Orgel in seinem Büro. Er muss böse sein. Ich meine, die Indizien, die Beweise. Er hat eine Orgel. Damon Gant and Lana Skye. Gant led the investigation with Lana second in command. They were the best. They solved all kinds of cases together, didn't they? Damon Gant's magnetism in particular was almost unreal. Siehst du, Twix, du bist ein Bösewicht. His magnetism? By that I mean his ability to attract evidence. He produced the most incredible evidence in the cases he handled. Incredible evidence? You mean... Oh yes, there were rumors about him even back then. No one dared confront him though. I take it she's talking about forged evidence. Back then everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her. Really? Oh yes, myself included. I was a fool really. She hated anything crooked and always watched out for the other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake. Mr. Marshall. When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she had lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would ever have recovered from this shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating. Miss Starr. That's why I will never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to return so cold after that? Anna transferred to the prosecutor's office 2 years ago, didn't she? Yes, thanks to the chief. Thanks to Chief Gant's powerful influence. Chief. That's right. Having solved the SN9 case, his position as chief was secured. Oh. Oh. Oh mein Gott, er hat Motive. Er musste die Beweise fälschen, damit er den Job bekommt. Dieser machthungrige Bastard. There was only one thing left for him to control, and then no one could stand in his way. The prosecutor's office. What? You mean that's why Lana was transferred? If he could control the chief prosecutor, he could control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along. But how could he control Lana? I don't know, but one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude there must have been a reason for her change. At last, I'm finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Thank you, Miss Star. You listened to me, Rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than I have been. Oh, you're back. You still here? I gotta make 150 copies of these files. Brewing coffee, copying files. I'm turning into a regular DJ. You're a DJ as well? If I'm not mistaken, I think he means desk jockey. Oh, that DJ. I gotta admire your persistency, but my answer is still no. I'm not letting you in the chief's office, period. I put my neck on the line. The office is the last crime scene of the SL9 incident. I have to take a look in there. There's got to be something we can do to make the detective change his mind. Ja, ich hab's. Lass mich einfach machen hier. Bam. What's this crumpled up piece of paper? Tja, ich rastet aus. Und zwar jetzt. No way! Mr. Escher can't be serious. Is he ever not serious? I can't believe they've pushed him this far. Mr. Edgeworth really feels responsible. When I first met him, I thought he was as cold as ice too. But I know different now. He trusted us detectives to provide him with sound evidence. But we betrayed him. Detective. That's it. I've made up my mind. But here, take my ID card. We can't do that if someone found out. They wouldn't let you off the hook with another lost item report. Look at me. It's no secret I'm already out of loop. After all, I'm friends with Mr. Edgeworth. Depending on how this case turns out, I may already be as good as terminated. What? So at least let me do this, for Mr. Edgeworth's sake. Alright, detective. Thank you. Ummel's ID tucked swiftly in the pocket. Ummel, ich liebe dich. Das können wir jetzt auch klippen und Ummel schicken. Mach mal nicht. Here goes, Mr. Wright. We're in. If anyone finds us now, Detective Gumshoes are goner. If that happens, I'm counting on you to bail me out. Yuck! Ja! Licht aus. Ummel bekommt keine Clips. Wow, Twigs, this is gemein. Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I didn't even know you could slap a ghost. Ah, Detective Gumshoe. What are you doing sneaking up on us like that? I wasn't sneaking. I was just worried something might go wrong. So I came too. If you're here, then what's the point of giving us the ID card? Gumshoe's ID crushed. Gumshoe's ID crushed and rendered unusable in pockets. Hey, don't do that to my card. I hardly ever get a chance to come in here, so I figured I'd have a look around myself. Besides, we're all in this together now. You really do want to get fired, don't you? Not if you're lucky. Now come on, let's see what we can find out. I've got a bad feeling about this. The desk on the other side of the room, was that your sister's? Yes, it's where I was waiting for Lana. On that day 2 years ago. Is anyone using it now? No, sir. This is entirely the Chief Kent's office now. He practices a strict policy of preserving the crime scene. That's a strange reason to leave it there. He leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be alert. He told us to himself at our New Year's party. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time. I see. So ever since Lana left, no one ever touches that desk. No one except Chief Kent and the cleaning lady who's in here each morning. Still, 2 years have passed since that incident. There can't be possibly any clues remaining. Can I ask you something? Sure. You only came here to look around, right? Because it's one of the SL9 crime scenes. I mean, that's your only reason for coming here, isn't it? Why do you ask? You don't think... Nah, you wouldn't be. No. No, there's no way. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Okay, now then let's look around a bit more. Hey, hold on. Not so fast, buddy. Huh? What is it? When someone tells you don't worry about it, it's supposed to start bothering you, Paul. You don't just let it go at that. Sorry, this guy's starting to get on my nerves. Okay, so what's bothering you? You two don't think Chief Gant might be a suspect, do you? What? He's right, Mr. Wright. What do you think of him? Murder! Murder! So it's finally come to this. What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best I don't divulge my feeling yet. There you go, ignoring me again. Oh, aber Ummel! Ummel, nicht bummeln. And this was taken the day 2 years ago. The day Joe Dark ran out of the questioning room and tried to kill Emma. After receiving his award trophy, Mr. Marshall took a picture here. Then went along with Chief Gant to question Dark. I bet he never knew he would be dead just a few hours later. Gee, you think? Wait. Ist das die Mordwaffe? This is the real deal, isn't it? This armor and these weapons. Sure is, Paul. The chief doesn't care for imitations. First the pipe organ, now this armor. Do you know how many taxpayer dollars must have gone into this room? What? You mean we're paying for this? That's it. I'm not paying 1 cent of my taxes. You don't have any taxes to pay. Shh. Be careful what you say. Who knows? The chief may be hiding in this armor as we speak. I don't think he would fit in there. Even if he did, he would never be able to get back out. Cut it out, you guys don't know how scary that guy can be. Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk. Speaking of that, when we were here earlier... Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant! He put a paper he was reading at his desk. Wonder what he was reading. This looks like a list of evidence. Oh. A list of evidence? In most cases the list runs twice as long as this, though. Hey, look at the case name. Huh? SN9 incident. I wonder what this is doing here. Hold on, detective. What did you just say? I said I wonder what. No, about the evidence lists. Normally they're twice as long? That's right, I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence. Half-size list of evidence. List of evidence, it seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. Fish past wakes. What would be the other half of the list be doing here? I knew it! The chief must be hiding something about the case. It would appear so. Evidence list added to the court record. Was ripped in half, so this part is all I've got. This is a safe, isn't it? Safe. That word is ripe with intrigue. Okay, if you say so. It looks like a code needs to be entered in this panel to open it. Oh, 9. Oh, nee. A 7-digit number, I think I just might know what it is. Oh, God. Do you know what it is? I have a hunch. Oh, I know. You want to try my birth date, is it? Oh, God. Easy. 300 IQ. Bingo. What number did you enter? Whose birthday was it, pal? 777777. The final ID card number on that record. What? The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered the room that day. You mean 7777777, the ID number? I think you're 17 shy this time. This can only mean one thing, that's Chief Gant's ID number. Say, anyone care to look inside? Ey, der kommt doch gleich und nimmt uns von hinten, ey. Ich hab so Angst. Mutti bringt der Ummel um. Nicht Ummel. Is there any money in there? How much does he have stashed in there? Wait, look, it's a... Und so ergibt alles ein Ganzes. A shot from a broken cup. This somehow looks familiar. Where have I seen this before? There's something else in here too. What's this? It looks like a piece of leather cloth. This is a handprint, isn't it? Hey, I saw someone wearing a shirt like that once. You think the chief made up this design? I don't think so. Oh, well, it was just a thought. Is that it? This is all that was in the safe? Apparently so, it's empty now. A piece of cloth with a handprint on it, and a broken shard from a cup. They look like pieces of evidence. Yeah, but unless you can prove they have something to do with this case, I'm afraid I can't just let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line here. Great, now I have to prove their relevance to get them. How are those two items relevant to the S9 incident? Come on, there's got to be something we can show the detective. Detective Gumshoe, could you have another look at this jar? Remember when there were three of us put it back together? Ah, those were the days. It's kind of early to be nostalgic. Wasn't this jar a piece of evidence from the case? That's right, one of the shards has an SL9 incident sticker on it. Doesn't this ring up any bells? You know, what that fragment we just found. You mean this one that was in the safe? Yes, that one. That was in the safe. Now that you mention it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits. Here, let me see the shard. I will take a crack at this. Go ahead, Paul. Show us what a rookie can do. Is it right? Here's some glue. If we can place this together again, it will prove Chief Gant was nowhere near hiding evidence. Here goes. Da-da-da-dum! There, it fits like a charm. That of course means Chief Gant willingly and knowingly hid a piece of this jar in his safe. In other words, he concealed a piece of evidence from the SL9 incident. But, hey guys, get a lot of this. What is it? This piece of you just attached is different from the others. Es ist Blut drauf. Oder there's a reddish line on it. Reddish line? That's blood. I don't get it. Why would Chief Gant hide this in his safe? Unstable jar updated in the code record. Would like you to have a look at this. Hey, I know what it is in. What? What are you doing? Why are you sticking out your hand like that? Go ahead, take my fingerprints. It's not your fingerprints we want to take, huh? Come on, this isn't the time for jokes. We're talking about the cloth we found at the safe. Oh, I knew that. The one with the handprint on it, right? Sheesh. Where's your sense of humor? Okay, Mr. Wright, let's check the prints. Sprinkle the powder on this cloth. Then once they have been absorbed into the prints, blow the rest away. What are you, my mom? I don't have to... What? give it my best shot. That kind of result won't be any good for matching prints, will it? It doesn't look like we will get a clear result from this print. I'm gonna try a different finger then. Okay. Nehmen wir mal den da. Ah, endlich gefunden. Was fehlt denn hier noch? Hallo? Danke. So, wen hätten wir denn da? No way. No. How can this be? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here? Hey, I found a match. Whose fingerprints are they? Huh? Oh, it seems the prints are too old. They aren't clear enough to get a match. Oh, that's too bad. I thought that there would be Dark's prints. Psst. Hey you, over here. What's going on here? What are the kids' prints doing inside the chief's safe? Don't ask me. Just keep this information from Emma for now. Here, maybe you should hold on to this. Piece of cloth folded and added to card record. Well, was there any help? Of course. Thanks to your ID card, we were able to get some hard evidence. Now that's not very kind, is it? Shit. In other words, if it wasn't for his ID cards, he would have been useless. Isn't that right, you in the code? Chief Gant. We didn't think you would be back so soon. Fortunately, I am a man who believes in science. As I was walking to my meeting, I happened to look out a window and saw a stray dog run into a pole. Just then I thought of a certain detective. Do you mean me, sir? Now then, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you all to leave. Yes, sir. Sorry. Oh, you in the code. Me, sir? Drop off your ID on the way out. You won't be needing it anymore. But sir... Now, get out. Yes, sir. We'll be on our way too then. Wait, you're the one without the spiky hair. Don't go yet. Me, sir? I would like a word with you. But sir, I'm not a licensed scientific investigator yet. You have the spiky hair, you're free to go. Mr. Wright? Warum geht er jetzt? Junge! Look, Paul, if I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. The chief's office is off limits. But no, you just had to go sneaking in there like that, didn't you? I thought you said you didn't care anymore if you were fired. Yeah, but if I knew it, if it'd be like this, I never would have said that. Now that I've seen the evidence Chief Gant was hiding in his office, I think I'm finally starting to get a picture. But why has she kept eerily silent about it all this time? Anyway, you listening to me? I'm gonna try smooth things over with the Chief again. Later, Paul. After that I heard from Emma. She said the police wanted to ask her some questions, so she'll be busy for the rest of the day. I see, so the chief asked Emma to come in for questioning. It's no use thinking about it, tomorrow's the final day in court. I'm committed to doing everything I can to defend you, which is why I'm here. But I've already told you all I can. What you've told me over these past couple of days. Absolutely nothing. Not a single useful thing. Really? I believe I did mention something quite important. Something I told you right at the beginning. I said that I was the one who stabbed Detective Goodman. You know, I think I finally figured it out. I know who it was that's lurking behind your words. Mia did a good job mentoring you. I'm rather jealous. It seems Edgeworth was right. Edgeworth? Once you're convinced you know something, no one can persuade you otherwise. Thick-headed is the term you use, I believe. Not a chance to get her to tell me the rest of the story. I have to admit, I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insisted you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth. It's that you're incapable of doing so because of certain individual. What an intriguing notion. A certain individual, you say? So you think I'm protecting this person? Protecting? No, I think afraid of is more like it. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you to silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, whom may I ask is this person you're speaking of? The one I'm supposedly so frightened of? What is the person's name? Well, Miss Guy? Mr. Wright, you are addressing the chief prosecutor. Do not forget your place. I take it she's still not ready to spill the beans. My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more about what you think you know? We were partners until 2 years ago. I respected him as a detective. Assuming he is respectable, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes? His crimes? Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did. Specifically hiding and forging evidence. Of course, these are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Chief Gant? Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who could have possibly tampered with the evidence was me. I had access because I was second in command of the investigation. Yes, you, but also one another, Damon Gant. If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you will need more than just words. Show me proof that Chief Gant falsified evidence in that case. Just found this in a safe in the chief's office. This jar piece and this piece of cloth. Do you know what these are? They are pieces of evidence from the SL9 incident. The person concealing evidence was none other than Chief Gant himself. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him? Touché, Mr. Wright. It's as you surmised. I cannot disobey the chief's order. Even if it means being found guilty for murder. Why not? Come now, Mr. Wright. You can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate in the murder of Detective Goodman. Or perhaps I should say, follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. Although I can't tell you the details, I can say that I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miles Edgeworth's car. Just as suspected. Despite what everyone believes, you were not the one murdered Detective Goodman. Correct. I was trying to take the body out of Edgeworth's car. The trunk's lock was broken, and I discovered a murder weapon while inspecting the body. The murder weapon? You mean Edgeworth's knife? No. When I found the body, this was the knife stuck in it. The knife from the SL9 incident, serial killer Joe Dark's knife. I couldn't just leave that knife in him, so I took it out and stabbed him with another knife. That would be Edgeworth's knife. That's right. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand. And that is the reason for the bandage on your right hand. Yes, it seems that I got blood on the victim's shoe as well. And then... she saw me just as I plunged the knife in. Miss Starr, huh? Why did you need to hide Dark's knife so badly? It took a lot of work to finally close the Dark case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't ever want it to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that, by whatever means possible. So, you hid Dark's knife. The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in the Joe Dark case. If word got out, which it would, if word got out, which it would, the reporters would have field day with that. So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it in Edgeworth's exhaust pipe. Right, then I called my sister to tell her what happened and to ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler. You asked Emma? I didn't want anyone on the force to know about this. That would explain why Emma is so confident about Lana's innocence. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day. A bad feeling? The truth is, after I received those orders from Chief Gant, the first thing I did was make a phone call. A phone call to Petromite Jake Marshall. To Marshall? Why on earth would you call him? The lead investigator of the SL9 incident had been murdered. I wanted the fact to be kept hidden and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust. Or at least I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that after I spoke to him he went off on an escapada of his own. Oh, you mean, not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands. He disguised himself as Detective Goodman and tried to steal evidence. He had already stolen the ID card, but it seems he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared. So your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room. I'm afraid that's all I can tell you. But Lana, you've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and an investigator. Now please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow. Tomorrow's trial. There's only one way to drive off Lana's demons. I've got to get to the bottom of everything. Detective Goodman's real murder. And what went down in the chief's office 2 years ago. To be continued. Oh, das war harter Tobak. Gut. Aber ich gehe davon aus, dass der Trial selber wahrscheinlich noch 1 Stunde 2 gehen wird. Und ich bin zu müde dafür. Vielleicht bin ich später am Abend nochmal live für 1 Stunde 2 mit irgendwas anderem. Rechnet allerdings nicht damit. Das ist nur eine Vermutung, dass ich vielleicht live gehen kann. Ich werde jetzt erstmal mich erholen. Denn ich bin geschafft von dem ganzen Vorlesen. Ich danke fürs Zuschauen. Man sieht sich beim nächsten Stream. Vermutlich gibt es ein Ace Attorney. Das ist das Finale vom ersten Game. Finally. Und dann will ich auch irgendwann mal Yoshi noch beenden. Irgendwann. Vielleicht. Mal schauen. Ja. Ansonsten gibt es halt Yu-Gi-Oh! Oder so. Oder irgendwas anderes. Danke fürs Zuschauen. Und man sieht sich beim nächsten Mal. Macht's gut. Tschüss. Tschüss.